Hi everybody, welcome to this tutorial of the MT310 class. In this series of tutorials, we will create a sign-in page. First we will create the page layout and then we will make this page functional. At the first half of the tutorials, we will create the UI appearance of the page using mainly the XML layout files of Android Studio, and then later we will write some Java code to make these pages or this page functional. And once we enter the correct username and password, we can log in to the following page that we will be talking about later. So let's start this series of tutorial. First we will create a sign-in page that looks something like this. So let's run our Android Studio project. This is a complete sign-in page appearance or layout, and it looks like this. The page is composed of a background, a blue background, which is the background color of the university. Then we will have on top, we'll have the logo, which is a JPEG file. We have the text, the name of the university, which is a text view. And here in the middle, we have two input texts, which are the username and password. And we have at the end two buttons that are positioned next to each other in a horizontal manner. These buttons are the login button and the sign up button. So let's create this page from scratch. Let's start by creating a new Android Studio project. So let's create a new project. Let's choose an empty activity. Click next. Let's call this project you can call it whatever you want. Let's call it AOU app demo, and the language of use is Java. Let's choose an API version which is not too old but not very new or not too recent. Let's choose API level 23 or 22 and then click finish. Okay, so this is our new project. It is here. Let's first run the project and see what we have. This is the old one. This is the project that we want to emulate or that we want to imitate and create one similar page of the page we saw. So this is our new project. It looks something like this. It's an empty project with a hello world text inside and a title bar above, a green title bar, and the white background. So let's start first by removing this text here. We don't need this text. We'll use other texts later. So in order to access the XML file of the application or the layout files of the application, we go to Res, Layout, and then we find our main activity XML file. Let's click there and go to the file itself. So if we see the XML file here, the file is structured as follows. We have a constraint layout, which is the parent layout of the page, and inside this layout we have a text view. So for the sake of this first application, we will not use the constraint layout as our layout, as our parent layout, we would use something called relative layout. We will go through layouts later in upcoming sessions. So once we change the relative layout here, it changes here. And now let's continue. So inside the relative layout we have a text view, which is the hello world text. Let's remove this. Now we have an empty page. Let's run the application just to make sure the text is not there. Now we also have this title bar, this green title bar. We have to remove it. So in order to remove this title bar, we go to another folder here, which is values, and then inside values there is a file called styles.xml. It's an XML file containing the theme of the application and many other styles that you can add. We'll talk later about styles too in upcoming sessions. So this is the app theme, the theme of the application, and this is the default theme used by the application. How do we know that? Let's go to the XML file named Android Manifest. This is like a descriptive file of the application itself, how the application runs, what is the activity that appears first. Here the activity that appears first is the main activity. So what is the theme of the application? The theme of the application is here, Android theme equals style app theme, which is the name of the theme created here in styles. So let's continue using this theme, but instead of using the dark action bar, which is the description of the parent theme, let's use no action bar. Now if we run the application, we have no action bar here, okay, and no title bar. So we have an empty background, empty white background. Now the next step, let's go and make this background blue. So in order to make this background blue, we have to go to the layout file itself, the activity layout file, and by activity here in Android we mean a page. So whenever I say activity, I mean the page itself. So here we are working on the SignIn page. Now let's choose a background color for this activity. So we add the background attribute here, and we can choose a color for the background, or we can use a background image. So it can be either an image or a color, but here we want to use a color for the background. Now we have 3 colors available in this application. So these 3 colors are not, or don't, this list of colors does not contain the color that we want to use. So the solution is to go and add the color that we need in the colors file. So where to find the colors file? We find it in values, colors. Let's go there and add the color that we need. So the color that we need is a blue color. It is the blue background of the color blue that is used by the AOU, and let's call this color AOU blue. Okay, and now we need the color value itself. So where to get the color value or hexadecimal value? We can go online, or we can go to a photo editor, and here I have the AOU logo itself. So what I need of this logo, from this logo, is the color blue. So how do I know the X of the color blue? We just click here and go here, and then I have the hexadecimal color that I need. Let's go back to Android Studio now and add the color value here. So I added the color value. We still have to add this sign before the color in order to have the correct color. Now the color appears to the left of this line. So this is the color that we are talking about here. This is the color appearance and this is the color code. Now let's go back to our layout file and choose the color. The blue color that we need to add here. So as we see here, the new color is added to the list since we added the color in the colors file. Now we can choose this color, and as we see here, the background color is the one we need. Now let's run our application, and as we see, we have the color that we need.